single person I talk to as explaining the internet from scratch for every single client, which is pretty interesting. But it gave me a good perspective on the three elements that were kind of molding my life, which were technology, marketing, and design of websites. And it gave you kind of an early on understanding of the evolution of sites and the things that people did wrong. Got to go through the whole 90s bubble, which was fantastic, and God knows I hope it happens again and again and again. Bubbles are awesome. During that time, I also started a content management company called Keltec, before people knew what content management of the web was. Sold Blue Diesel, sold Keltec, kind of got a feeling for how to incubate a business, how to grow it, how to get it to the right size, and exit the business. And with Blue Diesel, what I saw was we were working with lots of clients, showing them how to get to the web, and then they go on and make a ton of money, which is great. That's kind of what they paid us for. But after a while, it's kind of like, I understand what they should be doing. I understand how to build this stuff. Why the hell am I giving all this value to them? I said, why don't I just build this stuff for myself? So the first kind of test of that concept was a company called swapalease.com. Swapping is connected people that want to get out of a car lease, people that want to get into a car lease. But what was more important about it is a pure play web-based business, circa 02, when those were just starting to become a little bit more fashionable. It wasn't funded whatsoever. We grew it from the ground up, kind of on our own capital. And a couple of things happened around that time, around 02, 03, that changed the landscape of startups completely. Number one was cost per click and search engine marketing. The other was affiliate marketing and lead generation. And at the time, although it doesn't apply anymore, AdSense was monetized through ads. The reason that changed everything, and I think it's going to be applicable to what we're talking about today, is it gave you an opportunity to erase the one thing that you spent a lot of time raising capital for, and that was marketing. Because marketing started to become performance-based, you could pay for click, you could pay for impressions, you could pay for lead. You can start to focus your marketing around actually acquiring customers and only paying for that versus just throwing up literally billboards on the highway to hope people someday show up at your store. What we were able to do with SwapLease was we took about $1,000 a month on an American Express card and put it in the Google cost display. And we bought ads around auto lease, etc. People would click on that, come to a landing page, we test that page, get that page perfect. Once it converted high enough, we started to put more and more money into the account. Took our spend from $1,000 a month to $100,000 a month within about 18 months. And that's just putting some cash in, hitting the landing page, figuring out what converts, and putting more cash in after that. We funded the whole thing on an American Express card. Nothing unique about it. But it was an interesting model because we figured out we could build a web company fast and cheap. And more importantly, we could scale it, which in this case is particularly the marketing, on our own dollars, which I thought was really interesting. And so from there, we formed a company called VirtuCon. And VirtuCon's purpose was to start building more companies, to build more and more web companies. So from there, we built a company called the Go Big Network, which is the largest network of startup companies and investors. We built a company called Gotcast.com. Gotcast connects people who want to be on television with actual roles, so it's like an American Idol online. We cast for every show now, every network. We just launched a company called AffordIt.com. Afford It takes the price of anything for sale on the web and turns it into a monthly payment. We also launched another company called BizPlan.com, which got is here today. It's literally allowing you to do a collaborative environment to be able to build your business plan online as a team and then share it with investors. So from there, we'll go on and build 20 more. Maybe one of them is in this room right now that we can partner with and figure out how to take to market. But what's most important about all the businesses that we're doing, kind of one of the things I really want to impress on this group and then Columbus as a community is we build stuff that solves problems, right? I know that sounds like an obvious thing, but not a lot of the solutions out there have a problem associated with them. For example, when people are stuck in a car lease, there ain't no way out of a car lease. If you're stuck in a car lease, the only way you're getting out of that thing is if you transfer the liability. The problem is well understood. If you have that problem, we don't have to explain it to you. We have to let people know that the service exists, but we don't have to explain the problem. Conversely, when you get into some applications where you have to explain what the solution is and explain what the problem is, if it gets too heady, if there's too much to explain of what you're trying to solve, it's going to be a pain in the ass. It's not going to work very well. What we find is the most elegant businesses solve hopefully a big problem. More importantly, they solve an obvious problem. Like Afford It, for example. At Afford It, we realized that the subprime market, people who can't get a regular credit card, one point was at 20% is well on its way to 50%. Most people can't get a credit card. ungodly how bad these credit markets are. So we've developed a product where you can actually finance any product through your banking account, through your checking account. If you have a valid checking account, which will grant you credit to buy products. And so if somebody wants to buy a Sony PS3 and they want to buy it for $20 a month, we can manage that transaction. My point here is, when somebody wants a Sony PS3 and they can't afford it, they get that problem. We don't have a really hard time explaining to people what the problem is or explaining to them why this solution matters. If you need to buy a PlayStation, you ain't got the dough, you're going to wind up to afford it. The problem inherently makes sense. With stuff like